Hello. Lately, I've been receiving a lot of questions from people, but also when I've been talking with my clients about just their nutrition, they ask a lot of questions around supplements, whether the supplements that they're taking are suitable or whether they should start taking a supplement for their symptoms. So today I thought I would just do a live to talk through some of the most common questions. So thank you if you did send through your question about one of the supplements. If you are joining live, make sure you just put in the comment section if you have a specific question. If you're watching the replay, you can put it in the comment section as well. And if I don't get to your question today, then I will answer it later on in the comments. So first up, as a dietitian, we are really strict about the types of supplements that we recommend. So we go through the clinical evidence, scientific evidence, and I only ever recommend supplements that have actually been scientifically proven. There will be some supplements that are more like herbal remedies or like Chinese medicines, which might have a little bit of evidence to support it, and maybe they've just been traditionally known to work. But as part of being a dietitian, my role is to make sure I only recommend the supplements that I really, really believe in. So there might be some things I'm like, there's no harm in doing it, but I would only ever recommend to my clients specifically the ingredients that have been scientifically backed. So the first one that people have been asking about is protein. This is a really common one that people often want to supplement or think that they need to supplement, and especially when it comes to building muscle or just recovery after sports or just for everyday strength and everyday recovery. So protein is one of those nutrients that we can really easily get from foods. If you eat meat, then things like red meat and chicken, so fish, and dairy products, those are usually really high in protein. But if you're vegetarian, then some other products would be things like soy and tofu and nuts and seeds, which have a lot of protein as well. So if you are able to carefully plan out your diet, then protein is definitely one of those things that you don't really need to supplement. As a guide, usually we recommend from about 0.8 to 1 gram per kilogram of body weight for general public in terms of the amount of protein you need per day. For most people, we need at least 1 gram to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight to maintain your muscle mass. If you have goals to build muscle and you're doing a lot of strength training to help to facilitate that, then your requirements might increase a little bit more. So that is something that I do work with my clients on, is seeing what they're already eating, how much protein they're already having throughout the day, and then how much they would need to support their goals for muscle strength or just to maintain muscle mass or just for general recovery, and then help them to create a bit of a sample plan or meal plan to see how they can reach their goals. So if you are just a normal sort of weekend warrior, everyday athlete, then you don't really need to be supplementing with protein if you're getting enough of those food sources. But if you do struggle to get those food sources, like you don't eat much meat, you don't like tofu, or in the hospital, I see a lot of elderly patients who just don't have much appetite, and maybe you're going through a period where you just don't feel like eating much, or you struggle to eat a big volume for your requirements, then we might recommend a protein supplement in the form of a powder or a shake, and those types of protein bars. But in general, firstly, you want to work out how much protein you are needing, and then how much protein that you are consuming, then seeing if you need to be supplementing based on that. Okay, so I hope that clears it up. Now, in terms of the next question, we have about electrolytes. Electrolytes, most people know it as rehydrating. So especially after you've done a workout session, exercise session, we think that electrolytes will help us to recover our energy and help us to feel more energetic after a long session. But does everyone really need to be drinking electrolytes? The answer is no. So unless you are sweating profusely, you're a really big sweater and you're doing really long workout sessions where you do lose a lot of moisture from your skin, from your sweat, just from saliva, then you might need to replenish with an electrolyte, a sports drink afterwards. But otherwise, most of us don't really need to be having things like Gatorade or Powerade or any other of those electrolyte drinks. And we can easily rehydrate with just plain water. So as long as you're having enough water throughout your session and after your session, then just having plain water is good enough. Other things like even milk, cow's milk, have electrolytes. So electrolytes are basically some minerals that are lost in our sweat. And when you have those sports drinks, it contains these electrolyte minerals to help to lock in the water that you've lost from your sweat. So when you're drinking plain water, some people think that's not enough to replenish the electrolytes that I've lost in my sweat, but that's actually not true. And even having normal cow's milk, that has some of those electrolytes already in it, and it's cheap. You don't need to go ahead and buy those really sugary, really expensive sports drinks. Okay, so that's it on electrolytes. The next one was about collagen. So collagen in general, you might have heard a lot about it. Some people promote it for gut healing, and some people promote it for skin. Some people promote it for all sorts of things. And if you're talking about for gut health, and I'll focus on gut health but first because gut health is obviously an area that I'm really passionate about, and it can also make a really big difference to your mental health if you have good gut health. But if you are having collagen because of your gut and you want to heal your gut, you want to have better gut health, then you do not need to be having it. Collagen is probably not the thing you should be focusing on. If you are having collagen for your skin though, there is some evidence to suggest that collagen can improve your skin health. So for example, people who might have a photo shoot coming up, or a wedding, or just a function where they want their skin to look a little more radiant, then there is evidence showing that collagen can help with that. And the effects usually last just as long as you continue taking the supplement. But if you stop taking it, then the effects will obviously start to fade. And that can be collagen in a powdered form. Nowadays I have them in like little sachets and little like liquid vials. So those types of products are okay if you're taking it for your skin. But again, if you are taking it to try to heal your gut or to try to improve your gut health, then collagen is probably not the supplement that I would be recommending, and I would say save your money. The next one is about sleep support supplements. So if you struggle with sleep, you might have seen that on the market there are a lot of different supplements from different brands that promote improving sleep quality. When it comes to sleep supplements, there are a few actually that are clinically proven to help to reduce stress and then help you to be able to wind down and fall asleep. So one of those, this is for stress as well, so stress and sleep support supplements. One of those is ashwagandha. This is a very traditional herb, which has been used for a very, very long time and is now a little bit more popular in Western society. So one of the ingredients in these stress and sleep support supplements is usually ashwagandha, which actually can help to reduce your cortisol, your stress hormone, your cortisol levels. So that is one ingredient that you want to look for, and it does work. It does help. The other ones that might help are things like lavender oil. Lavender oil, if that is an ingredient, or even just having lavender oil in a diffuser or in a spray, not necessarily ingesting it in a capsule, but lavender oil is also clinically proven to help to reduce your stress and help you to be able to fall asleep easier. So these are the two main ones. Recently, there has also been CBD oil, which you might have heard of, and that has also been proven to help with your stress levels. but there's still a bit of controversy right now, especially in Australia, in regards to whether it is safe to have. And I know there are a lot of online stores that sell it, but in Australia, it's still a little bit iffy. So some people will still promote it. Some people are still on the fence about whether or not it is safe to take. So there is clinical evidence to support that it can help in doses of about 3 milligrams, but yeah, it just depends on if you're comfortable taking this type of supplement, because it is a cannabis-based supplement. And then the last one is, someone asked me what other supplements could be helpful for improving mood. With mood, you might have seen that there aren't that many supplements available, and that's because in terms of supplements, there's not that much that I would recommend, but there are definitely lots of other nutrients and definitely other things, other lifestyle strategies that can help you to boost your mood. There have been studies that show that people with depression or with low mood tended to have lower serum vitamin D, so just lower vitamin D levels in their blood. And so we can't say that, we don't know if it's depression causing these low vitamin D levels, or if it's that when you have low vitamin D, you're more susceptible to having depression. But it is a good idea to be focusing on getting more vitamin D, whether that's through sunlight, sun exposure, or by eating things like egg yolks, which have vitamin D, even some mushrooms. If you put it in the sun, it creates vitamin D, so it acts like our skin does, converting the vitamin D into a form which our body can absorb, or maybe taking a supplement for vitamin D. So these studies in around depression and vitamin D, they were mostly done in older adults. So there's actually not that much evidence in younger people yet. So I am still very careful about recommending vitamin D. Most of the time, if you're getting enough sunlight, you're getting active, you're being outdoors, you're having enough of those sort of food vitamin D sources, then you don't really need to supplement. And this is one of those examples of when it's really important to be getting regular blood checks, so that we can see if you are having enough vitamin D, and if you aren't, then we can supplement. Okay, so vitamin D is one of those things that definitely can be considered if you are struggling with your mood. Now, just to wrap up, I don't have any other questions here yet, but if you do find a question, something pops up, remember you can add it in the comments, even in the replay, pop it in the comments section and I'll answer them later. But just another final note on supplements is that you can't, just like you can't out-exercise a bad diet. So say you're trying to lose weight and you're eating really poorly, you can't think of just exercising excessively to burn it all off. But it's the same thing with supplements. If you're not focusing on your overall diet, but also your overall lifestyle, no matter how many supplements you take, it's not going to help. Okay, so you really need to get to the root cause of what is causing your symptoms, rather than thinking that one supplement is going to solve all of your problems. And especially with supplements, it's one of those things that it actually doesn't work if you don't have these deficiencies. So just like the vitamin D, if you aren't deficient in vitamin D, then having a vitamin D supplement might not actually be helpful. And vitamin D is one of those things that can actually be toxic as well when you have too much, because it gets stored in your liver, and having too much can cause toxicity. So there are some supplements that are actually better to not have at all, because either one, you're just putting money down the drain, you're just going to end up having it come out the other end without doing anything, or at worst, it can cause toxicity. Okay, so it's always really important to be doing these regular checks, blood checks, to check your serum levels, your blood levels, but also maybe speaking with a dietitian or your health professional to see where there might be gaps in your diet, and addressing it through food or lifestyle strategies first before taking a supplement, just to avoid those risks. And then if you do need a supplement, then realizing that it's only going to supplement your diet and your lifestyle. It's not supposed to be the only solution. It's not going to be fixing all of your problems. So in the next couple of weeks, in 1 or 2 weeks' time, I will be having a new free online training where I will touch a little bit more on supplements and these things that I talked about today. So make sure you stay tuned or send me a DM if you would like to be the first to know when that training becomes available. In the meantime, if you have any other questions, remember you can leave them in the comments here or send me a message. Thanks for tuning in today. See you next time.